My girlfriend brought my mom a cake, then heard my family talking about her at dinner. My girlfriend got off work 2 hours early because she wanted to surprise me at my parents' house. My mom's birthday was that weekend, and my girlfriend had stayed up late baking her a cake from scratch. She sent me a picture around midnight, proud of the frosting. She also bought a bottle of wine my mom liked. She wanted to walk in, hand my mom the cake, and make the night feel special. I was already at the dinner table with my parents, my sister, and my brother. The food was out, everyone was talking, and I had no idea she had pulled into the driveway. I got up to use the bathroom, and when I came back through the hallway, I stopped because I heard my mom say her name. Then my mom said, "I don't know why he's so serious about her. She's not even that pretty." My sister laughed and said, "He's just lonely. He'll get over it." My brother didn't even look up from his plate. He said, "She tries too hard. It's exhausting to be around." I froze with my hand still on the wall. Then I looked toward the back door and saw my girlfriend standing there with the cake in both hands and the wine under one arm. She had heard all of it. She didn't knock. She didn't speak. She just stood behind the screen door while my family kept eating. I watched her face change. It wasn't anger. It was like she finally heard the thing she had been scared was true. She slowly set the wine on the porch railing. Then she put the cake beside it, careful not to tilt it. She didn't slam it down. Then she turned and walked back to her car. I followed her before anyone at the table even knew I had moved. She was already in the driver's seat when I reached her. Her hands were in her lap. She wasn't crying. She looked at me and said, "I've been trying so hard with them." I knew she had. She remembered birthdays. She showed up to dinners on time. She helped my sister with the kids when the sitter canceled. She helped my brother fix his resume, and one of her contacts got him an interview. My family smiled at her every time they saw her. They hugged her. They called her sweet. They told me I was lucky. And the second they thought she wasn't listening, they made her sound like some annoying guest who wouldn't leave. I stood beside her car and felt useless. I told her I was sorry. She nodded once and looked away. I asked if she wanted me to drive her home. Then she said, "I just want to go." I told her I was going back inside. She closed her door and started the car. I watched her pull out. Then I walked back into the house. Nobody at the table had moved. They were still eating. I stood at the end of the table and said, "She was at the back door. She heard you." The whole room went still. My mom's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. My sister stared at her plate. My brother finally looked up. I said, "She heard every word." My mom tried to speak first. She said, "That isn't what it sounded like." I said, "It sounded like you called her not pretty while she was holding your birthday cake." My sister said, "We didn't know she was there." I said, "That's the problem. You only said it because you thought she wasn't there." My brother mumbled that he didn't mean it that way. I said, "She helped you get that job. You called her exhausting." He looked back down. My mom started crying, but it felt more like panic than guilt. She said they were just venting. She said families say things. I told her not to hide behind the word family after treating the one person who acted like family better than any of them did. My sister snapped that people are allowed to have opinions. I said, "Then own yours. Call her right now and tell her what your opinion is. Tell her she tries too hard. Tell her she isn't pretty. Tell her she's exhausting." Nobody touched their food after that. My mom said my name softly, like that would calm me down. I said no. I said she didn't come here to beg anyone to like her. She came here with a cake she stayed up making for you. She came here thinking she was doing something kind, and all of you let her hear that kindness thrown back in her face. My brother rubbed his forehead and said, "Can we not do this at dinner?" That made something in me snap. I walked to the porch, picked up the cake and the wine, and came back inside holding both. I put the cake right in the middle of the dining table. The frosting had tiny, uneven spots because she had fixed it by hand. My mom stared at it and covered her mouth. I said, "Look at it. She made that for you after working all day." I told them they were not calling her until they knew exactly what they were apologizing for. Then I said the clearest thing I could. If you cannot respect her when she is not in the room, you do not get access to her when she is. Nobody argued after that. I took the cake back off the table, picked up the wine,